Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Novia Fitri Radita. I'm from Biologi A. I'm here to present the answer from the final semester exam of philosophy. Answer number 1. The theory of the consultancy of correspondency theory, coherency theory, pragmatic theory, and religious theory. 1. Coherency theory. Coherency or consistency theory of thought is a theory of thought based on coherent or consistency criteria. This theory argues that thought is the correspondency between a statement and other statements that are professionally known, accepted, and recognized as true. This theory is held by idealism people. An example of coherency theory, namely all living beings will die, agus is human, so agus will die. 2. Correspondency theory. Correspondency theory of thought is a theory which this holds the statements are true if the correspondency to facts or statements that actions the nature or the object to which the statement is intended. This theory is often associated with empirical theories of chronology. Correspondency theory of its earliest the theory of thought, so it can be classification into the traditional theory of thought because Aristotle from beginning. For example, our correspondential theory is Surabaya is the capital city of East Java. This statement is said to be true if in reality Surabaya is indeed the capital of East Java province. The church lines in the statement and fact. 3. Pragmatic theory. Pragmatics of philosophy developed by William James in the United States Church. The pragmatic theory thought is a theory that holds that the meaning of ideas is limited by preference to scientific, personal, or social consequences. This theory does not recognize these exchanges of facts or absolute truth. For example, the pragmatic theory is Jerry wants to become an administration in a political organization because he can increase his wealth. 4. Religious theory. On one way to find a church is religion. Religion with its own characteristic provides answer to all basic questions that are questioned by humans, both about nature, human, and about God. In getting the church according to religious theory is revelation that comes from God. Human seeks and determine the truth of something in religion by question or checking answers or variation. Problem the scriptures. The something is considered true in it is an accordance with religious teaching or revelation as a determinant of absolute truth. An example of this theory is carrying out all the commands and staying away from all the prohibited of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Answer number 2. Scientific thinking solely consists of sections that discuss the logic, language, and mathematics of the development of knowledge. 1. Logic. The word logic comes from the Greek word logos, which means true, word or thought. Logic is a philosophy of thought. In logic, the study of techniques for accruing knowledge and establishing a foundation of thought. By thinking about inductive and deductive logic. Inductive logic is the idea of drawing general conclusion from individual such. Deductive logic is the idea of starting with general statement and drawing correct conclusion. An example is thinking ration about something. 2. Language. Language is the human ability to communicate with their other humans. In general, language have featured in the world as coordination of community activities. They can determine thoughts and expression, communication, thoughts and feelings, do good the soul and calm emotional turmoil. For example, language is used as a medium of communication. Mathematics. Mathematics is a numerical language that represents a set of calculation from the statement we want to convey. Mathematical symbols are artificial which have meaning only if they are given a meaning that supports of the chemical activity in measurement. Mathematics is a language that tries to get rid of the value, complex and emotional nature of language. Mathematics play an important role in deductive reasoning and statistics play an important role in inductive reasoning. Mathematics as language, mathematics as suggestion from deductive thinking, mathematics from natural and social science. For example, thinking about this related to algorithms. For statistic, etymology, the word statistic comes from the word stats. The word statistic is definition as a collection of information both in the form of numbers and intangible figures, which are very important and useful for accounting. Statistic means table, graphics, list of the information, charts, and information. The word statistics means the science of collection, analysis, and classification data, but numbers are the basics of induction. In other words, statistics is a set of methods for making wise decisions in uncertain situations. Scientific thinking is very important too because it can find understanding, opinions, comprehensive, and problem solving. There are two kinds of thinking in the thinking: natural thinking and scientific thinking. Example of scientific thinking are thinking about things related to algorithm, mathematical manipulation, symbol, data, and graphics. Answer number 2. Rationalism is a philosophical school that seeks to expand the preserved methodology of mathematical through science, while as the other people experience hold that the search of technology is sensory experiment is not yet pure rationing. Rationalism is the basic action used to construct system through difference from ideal. Example of rationalism: a criminal will challenge and judgment by law. If you want good grades, you must study of the maths. When solving any mathematical operation, we use ration exclusive. Empirism is the etymology from English experiments and experience. This word comes from the Greek experience as empiricism, which means experiencing. The terminology, the notion of empirism is a doctrine or understanding the beliefs that the search of a chronology must be based or sensory experiment. Ideas only abstraction from what is experiment and sensory experience is the only source of knowledge. Example of empirism: human believe the social interaction and can measure between individual human because the have experiment in its directly. The action and behavior of a child are based on experiment of observation of surrounding experiment. Fire is hot because he has experience is himself by talks the fire and experiments called head. Number 4. Ontology comes from the Greek namely ontos meaning being and logos means mind logic. So ontology means the science that discussion the nature of something that exists or in other words means the student of what to exist or can be said to be tangible and basic on logic. Logic so that it can be achieved to bend by many people who are rationalists in natural can be thought of and its validity has been proven. Example of ontology in book ontology that is using reality about books. The reality is that there are images or ideas that makes as recognized a book, no matter how many models and of books there are, no matter their size, color, and physical appearance. It is still a book. This is when becomes the reality of existing ideas and image. Epistemology. Epistemology is a compound word derived from two Greek words, namely epistemes and logos. Episteme means chronology or truth, and logos means truth, words, or theory. Thus, epistemology can be interpreted as systematic chronology regarding chronology. Epistemology can also be interpreted as a theory through chronology. Theory of chronology. Epistemology is a branch of philosophy that talks about origin, source, method, structure, and validity of thoughts of chronology. The term epistemology was first used by J.F. Ferrier to distinguish it from another branch of philosophy, namely ontology. Example of epistemology. How do we get chronology for example books? The question is how can we know that this object is book? On what basis can we have the thoughts and presumption that it's real a book? In the beginning, of course, we have chronology and presume the existence of book thoughts or five senses. After that, we begin to analyze what our minds do, intellect that category it into a sense of discussion books. Axiology is a term derived from the Greek words, namely axios, which means value, while logos means theory or science. Axiology is a branch of philosophy of science that questions how humans are their chronology. Axiology is understood as a theory of value. Axiology is a science that talks about the cult of science itself. So, axiology is a science that studies the true nature and benefit of chronology. And actually, chronology is not infinite if we can make use of it, and of course, makes to be use of it. Example of axiology. Can this chronology profit benefits or versa? So, if it is related to be two example above, namely books, it can be related whether the chronology of this book can profit benefits in our daily life. For number 5. In the chronology hierarchy, there are 5 main foundations, namely traditional, authority, trial and error, logical, rational, and the scientific method. 1. Traditional. Traditional is the last foundation in chronology. Something is considered right because it has been considered too long ago. Traditional usually has no scientific basis, something the reason is not even known. It is only correct to or continuously because it's usually done in the past. For example, people often do weightlifting exercise with 3 sets of 10 respiration. We asked whether the reason is the answer is because many people of to them. 2. Authority. Hierarchy of chronology based on authority means that something is considered true because it says by experts. Rules that come from the authority to regulate or instructive. A simple example, the student in the class will assume what the teacher says is true because the teacher is consideration and experiment. 3. Trial and error. Trial means tryings and error means words. Trial and error is used to get the best knowledge. After a first experiment, it will be known where the error is and the errors found will be corrected so that in the depth knowledge is obtained. Example, a small child who is learning to run to bicycle. The child will be able to ride to bicycle well if the continues to practice experience a cycling in the himself. Conversely, this child will not to apply to ride a bicycle will if he only learns by reading an article good counseling procedure. Logical reasoning. Logical reasoning is a systematical process that combination personal experience, intelligence, and formal thinking system to assure knowledge. Logical reasoning can be either deductive theory is used to make hypotheses or inductive generalization drawn from current observation. Another example that distinguishes human from animals is the if tree is frog, birds will fly to a point or population which allows them not to survive, while humans will find out why the frog occurs, how to avoid frog, what are the combination contained in the frog, what are the impact caused by the frog. 5. Scientific method. The scientific method is the top of the scientific hierarchy pyramid. The scientific method includes systematic examination, empirical and controlling and critical preparation points on hypothesis. In the case, technology is obtained from the results of empirical research that are independent of the researchers. This method records development and opinion based on evidence. By far, the scientific method is the base foundation in the technology hierarchy. An example is turmeric as a medical ingredient performed by research. Answer number 6. The Islamization of science consists of the two words, namely the word Islamization, science and technology. Islamization means Islamization of the world. It could also be attempt of to Islamize the world, while science is a way of thinking in producing a calculation in the form of reality technology. Islamization of technology means Islamization of technology. The initial emergence of idea of the scientific integration was motivation by the existence of dualism of a scientific dichotomy between general science on the one hand and religious technology on the other, which is the grave birth to a dichotomy in the education system. There are four models or integration, namely Islamic scientification, Islamization of science, cultification of Islamization science based on revelation, and a combination of several models. Implementation of Islamization scientification is dominated by academics who are strong in religious thinking, then strength that is right scientific advantage. The Islamization of science is dominated by academics who are strong in the field of science, then strengthened by the foundation of the Quran, Hadith, and the talk of Muslim scholars. The cultivation of Islamization science is carried about scientific who are ontologically, methodically, and axiologically expert in religions and science, and are proud of Islamic identity. While a combination of two or several models is dominated by educational institutions and academician who prioritize the goals of proving that God guards everything. There must be benefit for the universe and awakening humans to stay away from harm. An example of a practicum report in the which there is Islamic integration related to the topic of discussion. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.